Thank you. Thank you so much, Betty, and to the Guadeloupe tech community for inviting me here today. As we all power through this pandemic and seek to create a fresh and meaningful path for ourselves, for our families, for our businesses, and for our country. So right now, I just want to have a sort of a fireside conversation with you, to share with you my own journey in the Caribbean tech and business community, what I've seen, and why I'm always bullish about the Caribbean, and why I believe that the future of tech in the Caribbean, the future of tech in Caribbean business is exciting and it's very bright. So I got started in tech through two ways. My family owned one of the first internet service providers here in Jamaica called Jamaica Online. And so very early, I got to see what banks of modems and what that thing looks like. And secondly, my job out of college, I worked as an investigative reporter at this startup newspaper called the Jamaica Observer. And so that and they were very, very smart in terms of, being disruptive in the media industry. They got all their reporters, they got all their staff hooked onto the internet, kitted out with Mac computers and say, all right, go forth and leverage all of this to make us great in the space. And so that was pretty much like my entree, my first taste of this thing called internet. And so that led me to do things like the iGuide Caribbean, which was the first internet guide for Jamaica and the Caribbean. It led me to launch Dutchpod Interactive, which was an interactive agency, run by myself and my business partner, Suzanne Leakey. It led me to, of course, start what most people tend to know me for, which is SiliconCaribe.com. And then, of course, Kingston Beta, which became the seminal and the signature tech startup community, and it became the longest running Caribbean tech startup community event as well. So that literally, being at the Observer and being at, getting that early taste from being around my family business kind of changed the entire trajectory of my life, for the last 15 years. So I just kind of kept following my curiosity. I was like experimenting with different things online. From 10 years ago, I was like, into podcasting in its second wave, and interviewing people who are a part of the tech community on this now very defunct piece of camera equipment called the flip cam, right? So I'm definitely over 40, right? So so I during that time of following my curiosity, I bothered a lot of people around me in the community. I bothered a lot of people online, just asking a million questions, because for me, I just had to unleash my inner nerd and trying to figure out what exactly is this thing called the internet, and what is it going to matter to me, and how is it going to matter to everyone else. And so that led to me doing SiliconCaribe.com, the blog, that led to Kingston Beta, led to Caribbean Beta, the first tech entrepreneurship conference in the region. It led to me trying different events and doing different events with companies out of Europe, doing South by Southwest, carrying a Caribbean contingent to South by Southwest, going to Black Tech Week in Miami and talking about what I had, labeled what was happening in the region as Sun, Sea, and startups. And so one blog that I was kind of writing and curating information in terms of what was happening across the region and in the diaspora led to me, hosting and producing over 300 events, led to, accidentally kickstarting the tech community, tech and startup community in Kingston, Jamaica. It led to a movement that I led for 11 years, along with some additional, some other leaders as well. And yes, it led to awards and stuff, but most importantly for me, it led to some very meaningful relationships with Caribbean tech entrepreneurs, a global network, that basically covered, ecosystems in the States, in Europe, in Kenya. And I've judged over like maybe 1,000 startups through competitions across the region. It led me to collect data. It led me to observe trends. It led me to work with government, advise ministers, development agencies. It led me to connect with other ecosystem builders in the region and of course outside the region. And this was a side thing because my main thing really was, so in my head, I was like, I'm a digital strategist helping businesses to get online and leverage, to do business online. And there was this other work that I was doing in SiliconCaribe that I love to do. So I had no business plan or anything. I was just kind of following my curiosity, following the fact that I liked having company, other entrepreneurs who were doing some interesting things online. But what I think this side thing did, it turned into what became, I think, my purpose. And it has allowed me to gratefully develop this vision of what I believe Digital Caribbean is or Digital Caribbean can be. So how I see Digital Caribbean is for how I think about it, is really how are we going about building a Caribbean digital economy? How are we going about leveraging who we are uniquely, where we are, to innovate, to leverage entrepreneurship, to build wealth, and to make our lives better here in the region. And yes, of course, solve problems for ourselves, as well as solve problems for, nationally, regionally, and of course, globally. But how do we do it differently? And when I say differently, I mean from the inside out, because I think we know typically, a lot of our innovation agendas, entrepreneurship agendas, because of how we're connected with the rest of the world, tend to come from the outside in. People are either selling us programs or giving us money and saying, this is who you are. This is what we believe you're good at. This is what we think you should do to make money or to create jobs and everything. And that tended to be what drove most of what we focused on in the ecosystem. For me, my vision of Digital Caribbean is to flip that funnel and to work from the inside out. And here's what I mean. I think in determining and deciding and defining and executing on the Caribbean digital economy, I think we're called to look inwards, especially now with COVID and that most of us been inside for the past year and a little bit. I think we're called to look inwards before connecting outwards. And when I say we are called to look inwards, I'm talking about we as leaders, business leaders, leaders in the ecosystem, leaders of companies, leaders of ecosystem programs, leaders of entrepreneurs, leaders. We're called on as leaders, we're called on as individual nations, we're called on as a region, I believe, to look from the inside, move from the inside out. And so my premise for how do we go about building the future of the Caribbean, building the Caribbean digital economy is very simple. But it goes against what we have traditionally been doing for the years. And it calls for each nation in the region to sit with itself and identify and then own what it is that it does best in the world. What is it that they have a unique and unfair advantage in right now, or can have a unique advantage in? And when we identify that and own that, then we can pair that with technology or create technology to solve our own problems right beneath our noses, our own problem in our own country, our own problems in the own region, and then out to the world. And so for me, that has kind of been really the premise of Digital Caribbean. And there are a couple of examples of that already happening. Barbados. 8 years ago, a young man named Gabriel Abed did a remote presentation to Kingston Beta talking about digital currencies and blockchain. Everybody was like, wait, what? What's that? And, and so Barbados, through Gabriel Abed, who founded BIT, have set themselves up to position themselves as an authority in the region about digital currencies. And they have basically lived that and leaned into that and doubled down on that and been working with governments across the region, where so much so entities like central banks and businesses are now coming to them to say, how do we go about doing, our own CBDCs? How do we go about testing this? How do we go about using the blockchain for that? And so Barbados has created a niche for themselves in the region and the world as the authority around digital currencies, right? In Jamaica, another example is Gordon Swaby, who founded Edufocal. And he wasn't, trying to create world peace or solve world peace. He says, you know what, young people need to embrace the internet. And young people are bored in terms of how they traditionally are going about studying for high school exams. So he created a gamified version of, a gamified structure around studying for high school exams. And he created Edufocal. 9 years later, he is still going as a very successful, profitable business that has launched into different aspects of educational technology, EdTech. And of course, there are opportunities within, it's across the Caribbean in terms of how do we merge our creative culture, the art, the music, the food, the fashion with technology that makes Createch really kind of a sustainable, profitable thing for our entrepreneurs and our creatives to be involved in. And so also, what is Guadeloupe going to position themselves and be the best in? What is Trinidad going to do? And so for me, the development of Digital Caribbean has already been happening, and I'm excited by it. And even more so because the pandemic has jolted us all, has disrupted everything. And I frankly welcome the disruption because I think for too long, Caribbean governments and Caribbean leaders, we've been talking a lot about we're going to diversify our economies away from just being, a place where people come to vacation. We're going to diversify our economies where we're providing better jobs that allow people to actually not just live, but live well and build wealth and build generational wealth. And so for me, I'm very excited about the purposeful disruption that the pandemic has brought to the region, because it has allowed us to stop. It has allowed us to go inside as leaders and as nations of the region and see how are we truly going to take advantage and exploit this opportunity to look at our industries differently, to see how we can actually leverage digital and leverage technology to reposition and recalibrate our economies where it's even better on the other side of the pandemic. We're even better where our Caribbean digital economy works for most, where most of the money being made in the region stays in the region and build us and build our economy. So I'm loving these top 5 trends that I believe are reshaping the future of the Caribbean and shaping the future of the Caribbean digital economy. The first one is remote work. Now, I've been a digital nomad for 14 years. I gave up my first company, I gave up my office, and I was like, I can't do it. My life, I don't like to stay in one place too long. I'm very ADD that way. I got to keep moving around and learning and seeing different things. But that ethos and that way of working, people thought I was nuts in 2007 to actually give up an office. Now, here we are in 2021, thanks to COVID, we have 12 Caribbean nations that are now given remote work visas. Yeah, for people to come in, but also for us in the region to move around as well. And so what this does, not just this changes our tourism product, because we're now inviting people to come and to stay longer and to stay for different reasons, it is also going to impact our food industry, our tourism industry, our transportation industry. And for me, I'm excited to see what remote work does to other industries and how it spawns other kind of businesses. And I'm excited about that particular trend. The second trend I'm excited about is creative, where the creative economy meets technology. It's now called Createch. And I keep telling people, I've been telling people for years that Caribbean content or audio or podcasts or blogs or video or films or short stories or art or fashion is in demand, not just with us here in the region, but of course around the world. Now, how are we really kind of getting that in front of new markets, in front of new people who can actually, who actually want to know what it is that we're doing? It's not just about picking up a trinket at the airport or at a hotel anymore. It's about understanding the culture on a deeper level and paying premium for the products that come out of our creative industries. The third trend that I believe is reshaping the future of the Caribbean digital economy right now is that the fresh faces that are now in this business of investing. Now, before, America is very loud, and the European, especially American, French, and the Europeans are very loud about the role that venture capital plays in the development of the tech industry. But the fact of the matter is, venture capital as an industry only really powers and fuels 10% of what happens business-wise and tech-wise. What is happening though is that the democratization of investing, which is beautiful. So now we have more women who are now angel investors and venture capitalists. Now we have venture studios that are being led by entrepreneurs. Now we have corporate accelerators like what is happening in Guadeloupe with ZBox and others, and of course the IDB and Tech Beach Retreat, their own corporate accelerator as well. What is also happening is that the diaspora are setting up private equity firms, angel investor networks, venture capital options, and other ways as well. And people are, there are younger people who are coming into the investing game. They're pooling together their resources and investing in different kind of businesses. So that the face of investing is changing, and I love to see it. The fourth thing is that entrepreneurs who have been a part of the ecosystem for a while are now onto their second, third, fourth startup. So they've realized that, oh my goodness, failure is not fatal. Failure is in fact sexy, and is a sexy step towards phenomenal success. So they embrace experimentation, they experiment with different things and fail and learn until they hit that. You only have to be right once, right? And to be successful. So they keep going until they hit that sweet spot, that thing that kind of blows, whether it is through bootstrapping or by finding that sweet spot, that customer that wants what is it that they've created, or they've gone and gotten funded anywhere. But whatever they're doing, they keep going. And that, because our mindset was really, we're very risk averse. We're like, fail and have my family come after me, or have the public knows that I've failed with something. Oh my God, hell no. Now it's being worn like a badge of honor, which it really is, because it's just a beautiful thing when you have the gumption and the gusto to go after something and to try it. And if it fails and you learn, they keep going again. So I'm liking how that the entrepreneurs are more resilient and more excited about trying new things, experimenting, and keep going until they actually win. And the fifth trend that I believe is reshaping the future of the Caribbean digital economy are women. At SiliconCaribe, we put out for the Girls in ICT Day last month. We put out a list, and we created our first top 50 list of Caribbean women in tech. We were surprised. We had a panel of eight women, and we were just amazingly and wonderfully surprised at the amazing women that we found both in the region and in diaspora, who are in all kinds. It was like 50 women from 14 Caribbean countries who are working in 24 sectors. If you go to CaribbeanTechWomen.com, you'll see the list there. Amazing. Women, sometimes we're too quiet about what it is that we're doing or have done, but we at SiliconCaribe decided now we're going to put some spotlight on you, because your story needs to be known. Your story needs to be shared. I'm coming for you, Betty, all right? And others. Your story needs to be told and shared with not only people who are around you, but the people in the region and the people in the diaspora in the world, because we're doing some amazing things. And the more that we know about our own stories, the more inspired we are, the more excited we are, and the more hopeful we are to realize that, oh my goodness, the Caribbean, which everybody considers to be, I live where you vacation, is simply not just that the Caribbean is a multidimensional multifaceted place because its people are. And I'm just excited about those 5 trends. And so for me, as I wrap up here, the top five industries that I'm watching, that I'm excited about, are e-commerce. Just the ability to shop the best of the Caribbean online, just the ability to export the best of the Caribbean by leveraging tech. And we've been doing it, yeah, but I see that there's because of what is happening now with COVID, that shops have closed, people are spending more time online. People are really kind of taking effort to learn those skills or to hire those skills to get them online so they can get into new markets and to show the best of what we have to offer here online and to the region and to the world. So e-commerce I'm excited about. I'm excited about fintech, especially the payment aspects of fintech. For a long time, tech entrepreneurs have had this issue of just being able to set up their businesses online and get paid using a credit card. Legacy banks from our colonial plantation past, and there's other things that prevent us from doing it sooner and doing it in a very massive and big way. That is changing because we're seeing now where digital currencies is coming into play. We're seeing now where the central banks and the Caribbean governments are now realizing, oh my goodness, we are really leaving a lot of innovation, a lot of money on the table by simply not allowing entrepreneurs to test their ideas, test their products, by just having the simple thing of e-commerce enabling that, by enabling payments on their website. So I'm excited about what is happening with peer-to-peer payments in terms of mobile money. I'm excited about fintech. I'm excited, of course, thirdly, about edtech, which is, of course, education meets technology, because I believe that the future of education is, of course, us teaching ourselves and others, or kids, or nation, digital skills, but in a different way. Our curriculums are changing. We're also seeing the necessity and the opportunity of doing short courses, because right now the world has shifted from needing 4 5-year degrees for some things to simply saying, we just want to see that you're competent in certain digital skills, and here is a great job that you can stay right here in the Caribbean, earn foreign exchange from wherever it is in the world, and have it come back to you, and you have that money circulate locally. That's a beautiful thing. Who doesn't want that? The last 2 industries that I have been watching with excitement is health and wellness. Clearly, because the pandemic has definitely put a spotlight on, oh my God, we thought this was going to be how the world ends, but it definitely puts us in a very introspective mode where we have got to take care of our mental health or physical health, because without us being healthy, everything else that we seek to do will not thrive. And so we're seeing people are more into our local herbs. There's a boom in people ingesting sea moss gel as both as powders as well as gel in their smoothies in Jamaica, and also exporting to the rest of the world. And of course, the good old weed, cannabis, as the others would like to call it. It's more I think what do you call it now? Acceptable to call it cannabis than marijuana or ganja or weed. But cannabis, Caribbean cannabis, I'm excited about that trend and how we're using.
You are not alone, Ingrid. A lot of people are really happy about this trend.
Oh yes, CBD. I had a small CBD oil business a year ago, and 99% of my customers were women. They're women who are entrepreneurs or women who are high-level executives, because they needed the CBD, which doesn't give you a high or anything like that, just to manage their stress, to help them to sleep better, or to manage their monthly lady pains. Cannabis, oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about cannabis and how we actually going to leverage the internet and technology to either grow things better, and of course, just be able to export that as well. And the fifth and final industry that I'm excited about that I'm watching is food. We all know that Caribbean has fresh, beautiful, diverse, amazing food. But I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about that where we're actually elevating our food offerings, because again, because people were staying inside, they needed their food. They needed to find places online where they could get their favorite places, their favorite foods. They want to know also to what else is out there that could be maybe healthier, that they could maybe, you know, go online, pay with their credit card and have it delivered to them. The food delivery business in Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados blowing up. It's amazing as to the food delivery apps that have now popped up because of COVID, but some of them were also in play prior to COVID. So, and not just are they delivering food, but they're delivering groceries. They're delivering your pharmacy goods as well. So just delivery as an economy powered by mobile apps or powered by the internet is something that I'm excited as an industry to be watching here in the region as well. And so my charge to you as leaders of the ecosystem, as entrepreneurs, as facilitators of entrepreneurs, is to understand, I want us to understand that as Caribbean people, who we are and where we are is unique and wonderful. And we just need to have, I believe, more confidence in, yes, being open to what is happening around the world. Globalization is wonderful, and us having collaborations and partnerships with people who are better at certain things than we are. But I want us to have confidence as we seek to define and redefine our future, you know, with technology, or future of technology in business, or future Caribbean digital economy. I want us to be confident in our Caribbean-born talent or Caribbean genius ideas, and pair it with technology or create our own technologies and solve all kinds of problems, small problems, big problems, or problems in Guadeloupe, problems in Trinidad, problems in Jamaica, problems around the world. I just kind of want people to understand, Caribbean people to understand that who they are and where they are and how they innovate and how they think and their ideas, all of that is more than enough. Thank you so much for your time. Happy to answer any questions.
We are not alone, a lot of people in the hub, Guadeloupetech hub in Guadeloupe, but I'm sure all people, all participants are really glad, very happy about your presentation. It was very clear, and now we have so many ideas how we can expect for next years. I'm sure now there is many questions, but before some question, we have Milen Colmar. She's a blogger, and I would like to ask to share with Milen some question, because she knows Caribbean and she shared a lot of many information from Caribbean. If for her, it's really important to be connect together. Milen?
Yes. Yeah.
Milen?
Yes.
Okay, Milen. I don't know, maybe.
Milen, is she
is closed, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
I'm hearing her, yes.
You hear me?
Yes, I am hearing you. How are you?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You are such an inspiration, Ingrid Riley. I'm really pleased listening to you just now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, because it was so great to hear all about that and the importance of confidence for us entrepreneurs.
Yes.
It's really difficult sometimes in Caribbean to just do something and to have the confidence that it's a great idea and we can take action and we can success. So
Yes.
I was really, really pleased about just this affirmation and about the trends.
Absolutely.
You didn't talk much about information, press, blogging, and I just want to have some ideas about that because we know the importance of social media and and to share some information in the Caribbean. And I just want to have your point of view about that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And it's unfortunate that I couldn't speak French, but I will flow. So I did mention blogging and media, but as a tool. So let me answer that very specifically. On a personal level, and just simply what I'm seeing in terms of trends and what I believe what the Caribbean should be doing more of. For me, everything that the reason I'm actually in front of you right now is because I started a blog, SiliconCaribe.com. And I started that blog in 2007, right? And that's a media site that covers the Caribbean and the Caribbean technology industry, Caribbean tech and business industry. So I've been doing that for a number of years. That blog led to a whole bunch of different things, right? Now, along the way that I was doing that, I kept encouraging other bloggers because we had Caribbean Bloggers Week, just to sort of get an idea of what Caribbean people were blogging about in the region, also in the diaspora. And we were what we're seeing at the time that we had a lot of people who were blogging about entertainment or other things. And we're like, can we encourage you to diversify what it is that you're focused on? Because again, we are caught up in that the Caribbean is just a place you come to jump and prance and dance. No problem with that. I'm a party girl. I used to be a party promoter myself. That is a beautiful thing to do. But the world needs our podcasts. They need our local stories in video. They need our films. They need our media sites or blogs that covers a range of subjects to show that the Caribbean is simply more than a place that we all travel to. It shows that we're great in sports, we're great in science. We're doing different things across a range of industries. So I encourage others to learn WordPress, learn how to podcast, learn how to create short videos, learn how to create your films, put it out on your sites, market out of it, join collectives, join online groups that are doing the same thing in terms of creating Caribbean content and creating Caribbean digital media like that, because the world is craving our Caribbean content. And it's okay that we consume content that comes to us through cable and through the internet, but we can't afford to lose our own stories and to lose our own voice in all of that. The world wants to know what is happening in Guadeloupe. They want to know what is happening in Trinidad, and a variety of stories. So please, I encourage you and other bloggers to keep blogging, but find what it is that you love, find things that you can be consistent in. Find what look at your analytics and see on your website to see exactly what people are reading most about. I should really encourage you to do two things, really. Get into podcasting, get into doing short videos, and keep going in terms of setting up your own blogs and media sites. So, and if you need any help, just give me a call. I've set up over 100 of them with my nerd self, and I've made a lot of mistakes. So I've learned a lot, and I'll be happy to pass that information on to you. So I hope that's a very long answer to your very short question, Minin. So I hope it was of some value to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Ingrid. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm sure about Sabine. Are you here? Sabine Bajazé.
Yes, I
am. Okay, because I'm sure you already work with Jamaica. Maybe you have some expertise or some words to share with Ingrid.
But I know actually I started working with Jamaica in 2008. It was a very long journey. We actually won the market. It was a call for tendership, and we won the market on implementation of the port community system in Jamaica for all the port and airports. So both sites, Montego Bay and Kingston, and we are working a lot with the Port Authority of Jamaica and the entire Caribbean Shipping Association and the Jamaican Shipping Association. Okay. I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica food. I love Jamaica culture. Yes. Actually, I am coming back with products for my hair and products for my skin. There is plenty thing to do in terms of exchanges with Jamaica. I will actually advise the people who want to enter this market to get in touch with TTMA, get in touch with Jampo. You will meet wonderful people that will actually welcome you and open some doors. As I'm saying, don't go in a export adventure all by yourself. Meet the people over there. You have a French embassy in Jamaica that is wonderful. And actually go with the ambassador actually go with me in many meetings. And it is great. There is also a lot of cultural exchanges between Jamaica and Guadeloupe and Martinique actually. And all of that should help you to structure your adventure to go to a country like Jamaica. It's big. You have to be prepared. And because just now Betty was talking about product to export, you have to be prepared of having very large orders. So you need to find out if your company can actually produce as much. We are not on the same scale of market. And all of that, there is a market that is well structured, very big, but well structured, with many professional associations that I just talked about that can actually help you to meet people and meet people on different bases. You will meet people on a working environment, and then the Friday you will meet people in a lining environment, and you will realize that you're meeting more opportunities and you will discover the culture and so on. And all of that is important to structure your adventures in this country.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
It's a beautiful sales job on Jamaica. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Someone can speak about Guadeloupe. I'm alone. Oh, no, just something important. If you come in Guadeloupe, I hope so. With after the COVID problem, as a pandemic, you can come and discuss with us, have some exchange. You can discover many things in Guadeloupe: the culture, the food, how people work. But just before that, I think we have some bridge to build together about the content and about the content of the future. I'm absolutely sure that we have some common goals. I think maybe we have some question for the panelists. Can see if Raisa, some people like Ludovic, they have some question. Or Nadej, as your mic is open, if you want to ask a question, you can go ahead, or people can ask their question on the Q&A. Okay, widget. No question?
Oh, no questions? No problem. So you can connect with me online. I'm on Twitter as Ingrid Riley. I'm on LinkedIn. On IG as well, or just reach out to me. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Just connect with me because you may have some questions around some of the trends that I spoke about. So please, I'm very open to, of course, working with you, Betty. Is unfortunate. I've never been to Guadeloupe. I haven't been to because I realized that while I've been to Paris, and I don't need a Schengen visa to go to Paris. I also need a Schengen visa to go to Guadeloupe, which is like right there, right? So, but anyway.
More difficult to come to Guadeloupe than to go to Paris with all the airlines that you will have to take to come. It will take you a journey to come, but you will be welcome and will be very happy to have you.
Happy to come. I've done quite a bit of the Caribbean, but I've definitely not been to any of the ABC or G islands. So that's definitely, after COVID, I'm going to start ticking them off and coming to meet you in person, Betty, and see what amazing work that you and your team are doing down there for sure. So thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm really sorry, but many questions happen. You can see the Q&A, or you want I with a question for you?
Yes, please, because I'm sure they're all in French. Oh, okay. There's one that is in English. Why CBD and not cannabis that is planted and smoked for years in the Caribbean? Oh no. Well, Gregory, let me answer that question. No, I'm for cannabis generally. Without question, cannabis planted and smoked for years in the Caribbean has been happening across the region for years, and so. Absolutely. We've been doing a lot of growing here as well, or local land races, and as well as additional strains as well. So I'm definitely open to that. I mean, and I if you want to call it, I came out as a cannabis user. Was it last year or year before last? Online. I wrote an entire blog about it. Why I went from just say no to yes about cannabis, because I was using it to solve my insomnia problems. And that's why, I got clued into CBD, because as an entrepreneur, while if I'm using indica, which really kind of gives you a very, puts you down to sleep and everything, I just kind of didn't want the high with it. So I am more pro CBD because it allows me to continue to work and others to continue to work without having the high. But I believe that cannabis oil and cannabis, the various strains, is without question of medicinal value to many individuals. So I'm definitely for all kinds of cannabis, but I'm speaking specifically about CBD because my own personal journey with CBD. Let me see, another question here. Is it possible to go in digital before solving local structural problems? That's kind of general. What do you mean going to digital? You mean as a business?
I think she talked about people, they have water problem in Haiti, maybe they have electricity problem, access to electricity, access to water, access to job. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, without question, there are fundamental things that affect your ability to even think digital or even be able to access digital. So you've got to take care of the fundamentals first. Are people eating, sleeping, drinking, and well? And so once they're in that space of that, their fundamentals are taken care of, then and then they as potential creatives or potential entrepreneurs can then think, oh gosh, how do I learn new skills using digital? How do I find a new job using digital? How do I start a business using digital as well? And on the government side or on the business leader side, with those problems that we have in terms of electricity or water, how can we use digital tools or technology tools to make those, to solve those problems? Yeah. And so there are different sides in which we can actually argue for the use of digital in that particular situation.
Okay.
Somebody has asked, oh my goodness. Yes, Gregory, Jamrock is rich, will be rich on ganja. Without question, sir. It's it's happening both legally and illegally, but it's happening more legally now. Sophie Lubon or Lubin, pardon me if I ruin your name. Lubin, okay. How do you work with political institutions? So at this moment, I am on Jamaica's National ICT Council, which is pretty much a group of individuals plucked from the society that are put on a committee, and they're there to serve, it's almost like a give back to the Minister of Tech, here to act as a resource, a think tank, recommendation engine in terms of how do they prioritize technology in government, in government serving the people. How do they put in infrastructure things or bring in more mobile players, or how do they look about getting solving the problems of children not having access to do their work online, not having devices. So that's one way in which I work and have worked with governments. In terms of parties, when you say political, in terms of actually political parties, I have not done so. And I deliberately chose not to do so, especially in Jamaica, because political parties, well, politics generally, I don't like politics. I understand the role of power and leadership, but I don't like working with individual political parties on a deep level. If they were just maybe like top level overall strategy, then maybe, but I prefer to work with government institutions that have a specific mandate. Development Bank of Jamaica, I am a vice chair of, hold on one second, I think my phone just went somewhere. Are you hearing me still, Betty?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I have your photo, Doc, so you can go ahead, don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'm also working with DBJ, which is a quasi-government organization, and I'm deputy chair of their entrepreneurship and mentorship council. So that's kind of how I work with semi-government political institutions at the moment. Let me see other questions. I don't see any other questions here.
No,
yeah,
it's okay for other question. So I think you have
Betty, for the important note that we have, you hear me, Betty?
Oui? Yes, go ahead.
I was saying that for the youth that is looking at us now, it's important to mention that there is an agreement, there is a partnership between the University of Guadeloupe and the University and UWI, Mona, and UWI in Kingston. It's important to know that somebody can follow a degree here, and within their degree, do 1 year in UWI, Jamaica, and still obtain a French diploma. And that is very well in terms of immersion and language acquisition and so on.
Okay, cool. That's good. That's definitely good to know, because there always are the ways that we're working together. And again, I'm always open to something that I find great joy in and great value in, when we can, what we're doing in Jamaica, we can exchange ideas with what you're doing in Guadeloupe and with others. I've been doing that for the last 10 years, and it's great when we can learn from each other and we can help each other to make life better for our entrepreneurs and just generally as Caribbean people. So I am always open to doing that for sure.
Okay, thank you, Sabine. Thank you, Ingrid, for all. The speech was really interesting. I think people of Guadeloupe and many in other territories are really inspired. I saw some people from Trinidad, from Burkina Faso, people from France, Canada. Thank you very much to be a part of the success of this conference. It wasn't a simple conference. It was with Ingrid, who inspired us about perspective, design the future of digital in Caribbean. So thank you very much, Ingrid.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you for everyone for your questions. Let's connect online. Take it easy. See you on the other side of the pandemic.
Yeah, sure. How about that? In person.
All right.
Okay,
in person. In person.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
In person. We need that.
In person. Definitely. All right.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much.